you choose to focus specifically on Indian teachers for your study? And could you briefly describe their key characteristics and approach? I think you mentioned it in terms of the spirit, but is there any key characteristic and approach if you want to develop that further? I don't know.
No, that's an interesting question. To be very honest, I chose to work with Indian teachers because I felt I could understand and relate to some of those challenges and some of their stories, since I myself have worked in that context of education in India. And I felt that was an important thing for me to, I wanted to be able to really listen to their stories and their dreams and their struggles and their fears and their victories and their challenges, because I think that teachers don't really get that space to talk about the personal aspects of their lives, which really influence the professional. But we're so intent on keeping the personal separate from the professional that we encourage teachers to be these people at work, but actually don't take into consideration that they may have so much going on in their personal life. So I wanted to really hear, that's why I chose the life story approach for my research, because it really kind of goes over your whole, literally all of the influences in your life and things like that. So, and I think because I self-identify as a value creating educator, I wanted to understand from other value creating educators' perspectives what they feel and think, and are there similarities, are there divergences, and I think their voices as individuals are important, but also as a community, it's important to see how we can learn from one another and with one another. So India is so diverse that even among my 8 participants, they speak about 10 or 12 different languages, come from different regional, linguistic, social, cultural, religious, and ethnic backgrounds, even within India. So I would hesitate to kind of say that there are, a similarity in, like, there's a similarity in characteristics, because I think they really they work at different levels of the schooling system, and they all see, if there are many themes that are kind of emerging that I can see that everyone has, these challenges are similar and these challenges are unique. But I think, as an approach, it's so, I can see how each teacher is so deeply influenced by their own teachers sometimes, and also their own lives and the progression of their careers, and how that, so everyone's approach is different. And it's amazing because here are these people with, this sense of, okay, we are actually a community in our own way, but also coming to this community from completely different paths and unique ways of seeing and being and doing. So I think
that's very interesting, because sometimes, for example, if you are in a school, you have different teachers, but often what matters most is actually the teacher itself, in terms of the behavior, the energy that person can give. And if you go back into your childhood, I have very vivid memory of my very wonderful teachers. I don't remember much the one that were a bit abusive sometimes.
I know, we all have those.
But I do remember in a very special way in my heart, the teachers that have really encouraged me, and they were very sincere. That's the thing as well. They were very sincere in their intention to really support me. And so if you reflect on your own journey, then you can, as a teacher, that's the same approach I should have, to have the same intention. Anyway, so I'm going to ask you your challenges and reflections. So what have been some of the biggest challenges in your research and journey so far? It sounds quite interesting.
Yes.
You said they were from different parts of India.
Yes.
And so this in and of itself, maybe that's part of your challenges, but please do share.
Yeah. No, that was actually something that really excited me when I finally realized that, wow, this is even just, I have 8 participants, but all are so different, and it's just it's a microcosm of what India is like, actually, even in the teaching system, I'm sure, students, teachers, everyone. But I think what's been really challenging for me is to really understand the intricacies of doing research in a niche area such as Ikeda Soka studies, because it's a steadily growing field, and I have these wonderful colleagues across the world doing really important work. So it gives me a lot of hope. But I think the difficult part was to really do a PhD with the kind of rigor that a place like Cambridge kind of expects. And it comes with a steep learning curve, because I don't have the kind of background. I didn't do a master's degree at Cambridge, where it's actually the master's degree where you kind of really cement your understanding of, research methods and things like that. But my master's at Soka University was very rigorous, and it taught me a lot. And it's just that the expectations are different. So it takes a lot of work when you move from systems, like even education systems in Japan to, like, from Japan to the UK and from India to Japan. It took me a lot of work to, I think, build that confidence in myself and build conviction in the work that I'm doing. So more than anything, I think I used to think that the challenge is actually the research itself. But more than anything, I learned, I think, over the past 3 years, that the challenge is not in the research, but it's in my ability to believe that I have the potential and the wisdom and the capacity to do and to do the research I'm doing, but also to create value in it, and not simply for myself, but for the field of Ikeda Soka studies, for my colleagues who I work with, for my participants, for my supervisor, for a deeper understanding of, where we need to get to in education. So I think that, like, really developing that conviction takes time and energy and a lot of courage and a lot of self-compassion, especially as a PhD researcher, when you're just, like, you've always told, do the work independently. And I have a wonderful supervisor now, and she's so supportive. But by its nature, the PhD is a very lonely journey, because you do the work on your own. And so what you really need actually is to develop that conviction that this is the struggle, but I have the ability to do it, and I have what it takes. And I have wonderful family and friends, and my partner is incredible. So that gratitude keeps me going. But there are some days where I'm just like, oh my God, I have to recenter myself and, like, really remember what it is that I'm here to do. And that takes some time. Yeah.
Wow, this is really incredible. And thank you so much for doing everything, because you are going to be contributing, and you are contributing to the future. And, if you think about it, I think many society right now, and they've been doing it for a while, reflect on a new approach in the system. And so all of that hopefully will also bring new ways and new beginning in schools, and adapt a different approach to education, hopefully, and this can contribute to that. So thank you so much. This is wonderful.